All right, guys, it's that time again. Another martial arts film. My name is Brandon Keith Avery, and this is just my opinion. Hey, what's going on, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Just My Opinion for my young Yip Man review. And if this is your first time finding me and you happen to like this video, please give me a thumbs up and consider subscribing. All right, if you've been here for a while, you already know, but if this is your first time here, two of my favorite types of movies, film, and television are comic book adaptations or superhero adaptations and martial arts movies. And now we are here for another martial arts film. This one right here is Young Yip Man Crisis Time. And it's quite interesting. I thought this movie came out this year in 2023, but I guess that's just for the States or on the Hi-YAH app that I have a subscription to. But if you see right here, this came out in 2020. So I am a bit late to the party. It is being directed by Lamont. I've never heard of this gentleman before, but there's no picture. But when I scroll down on IMDb, these are some of the other films that he is known for. Young Yip Man Crisis Time, which we're talking about right now, and also Yip Man Kung Fu Master. There are so many Yip Man movies, it's ridiculous. People are saying we need to capitalize on this title, and I am not mad at everyone. And this one does not have any direct links to the Yip Man series that starred Mr. Donnie Yen. I did review Yip Man Part 4 on my channel, so if you guys want to go check that out, please subscribe and do so. I had a lot of fun with that movie. But let's get into this one right here. Now, my expectations for this were medium to medium high. I wasn't expecting it to be as good as the Yip Man with Donnie Yen, and that may not be a fair comparison, but that was my first introduction to the character. I believe Yip Man 2 when they came out around 2009, 2010, so that was a number of years ago. But when I did see the trailers for this movie, I said, hey, it does look good. It looks like he's young, hence the name. I'm going to check it out and go in with an open mind. But before I get into all the nitty gritty, before I talk about all my likes and dislikes, let me tell you exactly what this film is all about. In 1917, young Yip Man first came to Hong Kong to study, but his peaceful campus life was unexpectedly broken. A shocking hostage situation occurred on the day when the school held an English speech contest. All right, so now let me talk about some things that I really did like about this movie. And the first thing is the runtime. It's only about an hour and 19 minutes long. This thing is not even 90 minutes, not even an hour and a half. It's about an hour and 15 minutes. If you want to include credits and all that, you can say an hour and 19 minutes. The reason why that is important to me is I always will prefer a shorter movie. Not saying that I don't like long movies, but if you can get your story across the best way possible in the shortest amount of time, that is a win for me, especially when it comes to martial arts content, because when I am going into these films, I just want to see somebody get their asses kicked. And I will talk about if that did happen in this movie. So the shorter the film, I'm thinking to myself, okay, they're going to get to the fists, the kicks, the glory, all that good stuff pretty early on. And that's one of the things that we do get in this film. At the very beginning, it is an opening, somewhat, not a montage, but an imagination of young Yip Man training with his master. I love all the Shaw Brothers old kung fu movies, karate movies, etc., to where they're opening on some monologue. You have the heroes, the villains talking about their style, the philosophy behind it, playing with wooden dummies, or just practicing hand to hand with their swords as someone is narrating in the background. I love that, and this is what they do in this film right here. I don't want to say exactly what they did because it was a nice surprise to me, but I liked the way they broke it down and was explaining the fighting, especially between the master and young Yip Man himself. Now, when it comes to everything else, I started to get a little turned off in the first 30 minutes of this movie. I do not mind a lower budgeted film, but this is clear as day that this is not the most expensive budget. It's not nearly the same as Yip Man that starred Donnie Yen, but at the same time, there's nothing wrong with that. You can still have a good picture. That's not why I was turned off. It was everything else surrounding that. When it came to the acting, the way characters were responding to each other, and I wasn't that interested in the story. And then when we finally saw Yip Man actually fighting, it was nicely choreographed, and I loved everything that they did with the camera, but the intensity was just not there. The choreography was, but the intensity was not. It kind of felt like they were kind of just going through the motions, playing patty cake just a little bit, and I don't like that. I want to feel like my characters, protagonists, antagonists, are trying to beat the hell out of each other. I want to feel like there's real danger, like somebody's going to die, and like I said earlier, I want to see someone get their asses kicked. So the first fight scene in this movie, it wasn't horrible, but it didn't get me super duper excited over the moon. As we're getting to know the rest of the characters, the plot is starting to develop, and I'm not really liking the where it's going. I kind of feel like the threats are empty, and I'm just like, okay, hey man, when are we going to get to the end of this movie? Because so far, I'm just not feeling it, guys. I'm just not feeling it. However, if you can be patient and wait until the first 30 minutes of the movie is over, right around that point, the 30-minute, the 31-minute mark, that is where everything picks up into this movie and everything does get good across the board. The acting improved from all the characters. The fighting improved as well. It was still some great camera work, and that was not the problem from the beginning, but it did get really intense. And I do like the Wing Chun Kung Fu style that Yip Man is putting these hands on all these bad guys, all these henchmen. It was quite nice. And the way that he fights deals with his personality. This is not a grown man. This is a young boy, so he does not have that much experience in life, and he's not really trying to kill somebody. He's not really trying to hurt them, just really defend himself. He is really holding back his punches, and that really does go to show how good of a character he is. I mean, he is a very lighthearted, sweet young man that feels like everybody should obey the rules, but everybody's not cut from that cloth. And that also helps develop the plot and the rest of the characters as well. I was kind of scratching my head, frustrated at times, like, man, if you don't knock this dude into the wall, he is gonna slice your throat out. You better stop holding back your punches and get into this, okay? You're gonna die. And I don't want that from my hero. Again, the camera work is great. It's no shaky cam or anything. They know how to set the camera still and show these people actually fighting. And that shows how great the choreography is and the amount of detail that they put in it. And the camera work is not just great during the fight scenes. Just when somebody's trying to escape from point A to point B, the way the camera pans over certain bodies on some type of dolly or drone, I really do like the way they put that together. These are long shots. A lot of it is one take, and that really does get you into the action. And what I love about this as well is when the characters are fighting, they are using full advantage of their surroundings. And also, when it comes to fighting, when it comes to something life and death, throw the style out of the window. Who cares? Do whatever you have to do to win. Use some common sense. And that's what the characters do in this movie. To give you an example of what I'm talking about, yes, you do want to have a one-on-one honorable fight if that's the type of person you are. But at the same time, if somebody's trying to kill you and there's a chair in the room, pick that hoe up and swing it at them or throw them at them. If you got some books and they got a sword or a knife with a chain on it, throw books at people. And the characters in this film do this, like, oh, I can't use a book. I can't use a chair because I got to use my kung fu. No. You're trying to get out of here alive. This is not some karate contest where you're on a stage fighting for points. Or even if it was a bit more dramatic than that, still, this is not the ring. This is in the streets. And so I like the way that all the characters do use the common sense and logic in this. That just really gets me on board with everything that's going on. And also the fighting itself, who Yip Man is fighting are just not some random henchmen. These people have a close relationship with Yip Man, and that really does intensify the fight, making you enjoy it that much more because it's personal. And you don't want to fight your boys. You don't want to fight your family, your loved ones. So you're at a crossroad. And not only is Yip Man at a crossroad, but some of the foes that he is fighting as well. I also just love the fact that you can show two people at one point in time in their life starting at one point. One goes in this direction, one goes in that direction. And then when they meet up 10, 20, 30 years later, how life has molded them is a real eye-opener. and can be quite scary at times. And I also like the code of conduct that a number of the characters use in this film as well, not just on the protagonist side, but on the antagonist side too, the bad guys. There is honor amongst thieves. I love that, and it is in this movie, it is in this film, and again, that just makes the story that much better. It's not just pointless fighting. They really do use their surroundings to their advantage to flesh out the story, to flesh out the characters, and also to flesh out these fight scenes. And then the way it ended, I mean, I just love it when two characters are just standing there, a face-off, one-on-one, getting ready to fight, getting ready to throw blows, get into all their stances and things like that. I love it. It may be cheesy to some people, but it makes me salivate at the mouth and at the edge of my seat. And I'm up here like, yes, let's do this. And earlier when I said I didn't really feel the threat, no, the bad guys picked it up. I'm like, damn. These people will kill people, whether they're women, men, children, it don't matter. Yip Man, you got to save the day. And the Yip Man in the Donnie Yen films that don't have nothing to do with this one, for the most part, he was going around beating up people. Yip Man kind of gets his butt kicked in this, and I like that. Our hero is not invincible. And the climax, the ending of this film, I love it. It was more common sense. It was more logic. It's like, hey, what do you do when you have no options and your back is against the wall and you are about to die? You're going to fight for your life, and that's what the characters did in this movie. Again, this is not the best martial arts movie in the world, okay? I have seen better, but for my expectations and the level that it was, mid to high or medium high, I really did enjoy this. The first 30 minutes, the opening was great. The next 25, 26, 27 minutes was a bit of drag for me, but right at that 30-minute mark, it was a roller coaster fun ride all the way to the end, and I would love to see this movie again, watch it by myself, or with a number of friends as well. And guess what, guys? Since you love martial arts, I will be covering Warrior on my YouTube channel each week. Yes, Warrior, the martial arts TV show that is on Max right now. It originally came out in 2019, and now we're in the 3rd season. I did do a review for season 1. I also did a review for season 2, and now I will be doing weekly recaps for season 3. On June 29th of this year, 2023, they did already drop the first 3 episodes, and they were fantastic, and I have an individual episode for each of those. And I also did a live recap breakdown of the first 3 episodes as well. And so make sure you check that out. And again, I will be covering the show each week with a separate video to break it down, followed by live. In addition to that, this Young Yip Man movie that you can see on Hi-YAH.com, I will also, on top of Warrior each week, be covering at least 1, maybe 2, but at least 1 movie review per week from the Hi-YAH website, just like I'm doing now with Young Yip Man. So if this is your first time here, please make sure you subscribe so you can get all of my Hi-YAH coverage, all of my martial arts coverage, and all of my Warrior season 3 coverage. It is definitely going down. I will go ahead and give my rating for this at the very end of this review. But for now, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. I really do appreciate it. If you like this video, please go ahead and give me the thumbs up and subscribe to the channel, helping me reach my next milestone of 50,000 subscribers. Also, you are going to get movie reviews, spoiler movie reviews, series reviews, a weekly movie news roundup show, a weekly comic book superhero show as well, and also other shows that I like to recap each week on streaming. You can't see it right now, but by the time you do see this video, there will be a playlist on my channel of all the martial arts movies that I do have covered on my channel. So if I had to rate Young Yip Man out of a 1 out of 10, I would give it a good 8 out of 10. Yes, a good 8 out of 10. But guys, again, I just want to thank you so much for tuning in. And before you go, don't forget that my name is B. Avery. That's just my opinion. I can't wait to talk about the next martial arts film with you guys. And until then, peace out, and I'll see you next time.